we are back at our workspace. We're back with our wrap. It's been cleaned of tape and residue. So now, after looking at it quite a bit, I decided to do the repairs using a tan Tengu-jo paper. Now, if you haven't seen this done, this is a very lightweight paper. It's super thin. It's I believe this one is 5 gram. So what we want to do is we don't want any sharp edges to this. We want basically these feathers, as I like to call them. And the first thing we're going to do is our main tear. Well, actually the whole spine's fairly torn, but we want to work from the back side, which is what we're looking at right now. You saw the front side of the paper, because the back side is the one that's going to, you see the least, because it's facing the spine. So what we want to do is tear this to a size that will cover the major flaws, and in this particular case I'm going to put this one. Now you notice the page is wet. That is from the solution. I have been soaking it in a mild solution of calcium hydroxide. We're going to go ahead and repair as much along the spine as we can. So I'm just laying out the fibers, and it's okay when they can overhang like this. So I got 2 spots out here right now, and I have my Lineco wheat paste, which I warm it up in the microwave to keep it consistently clear. Now, if you haven't seen this done before, you can look at some of my other videos, but we want to brush the wheat paste on. Now, the reason we use wheat paste and Tengu-jo paper for a repair like this is that it's removable. I can completely soak this wrap again and all of it will come up just like it was never there. And I like to use wheat paste myself. Some of my colleagues use their own favorites like methyl cellulose, things like that. I like wheat paste because I think it provides a higher strength level. It's a little bit thicker. And you notice that I'm brushing away from the middle. So, and I get these little beads. We can just pick these up. We're going to smash those down anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. So that looks pretty good. And this will dry almost transparent. You really have to look for it. And this is a, if I haven't said it during the beginning of the project, it's pretty obvious that this book's in bad shape. So I did measure out the cover, and yes, it is trimmed. Not only is it trimmed, it was trimmed probably a good 1/4 of an inch off the cover, which is a shame. That's not something that can be recovered or rebuilt. I will take a look at it. Maybe we can add a strip of paper, but most likely not. It will look pretty obvious. So I'll attack that. That's going to be one of the last videos. I want to get all the wraps done. Just about every wrap has a spine, a tear that needs to be sealed and needs to be cleaned and flattened. Now, the cover is, as you know, that is an absolute special mess. Hot mess, as I like to call it. Sorry, so anyway, I'm rambling. So we're going to go ahead and move on to another area up here. And if you remember right, there's a little tear right in here that was held together. Yeah, right there. So we're going to go ahead. Now that one's going to be one that's going to be kind of visible, but we'll put a tear seal there. And again, we brush outward from the tear, or from the patch. And this will go through a drying process, and we'll make several passes at this and take a look at it. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the staple holes are kind of a mess on this this wrap. It is the first wrap, so I'm going to go ahead and put a patch over The this area right here, it's I think it's fairly weak. So we're going to put a fairly large patch in this area right here, and we'll go ahead and we'll we'll poke new holes in it when we replace the staples. Now, like I said, this book is in horrible shape. It is probably, oh, maybe a 1.5 if we're lucky when we started, and when we're finished, it'll still be a 1.5. This is really a demonstration of technique, and it's also to see, well, how much we can get away with removing some of the staining and the tape. See, tape is just we don't want tape. Guaranteed, that is something for a purple label. Now, is it possible to get a conservative label? I really don't think so. Not with this book. The damage is too extensive. Now, I have another video of a book that was just as badly damaged. If you want to go look at my Men's Adventures 25, that book was in pieces, and we put together all the pieces just like a puzzle, reassembled it in a book, and it came back as a 6.5 conserved. I was stunned. So I don't know. I think it really also depends on who's grading the book. I've had some stuff that I sent in that should have been conserved, even with notes, and it came back purple. So I do think there's a little bit of a lack of consistency with CGC and their graders. I also think there's a certain level of inconsistency with their different ages. I think they have different graders for modern and different graders for silver and gold or age. I just don't see some of these things that they scrutinize. I don't know. Anyway, I'm making a lot of complaining noises, so I'm going to go ahead and stop. So all in all, this looks fairly good. So this corner, that's the biggest thing. So just as a little bit of a science experiment, we're going to go ahead and let's make a corner and a little bit bigger piece. I think we'll do 2 layers of paper in this particular case. I'll go ahead and carry it over like this, and we just need to do, again, we're going to fold this into the paper. So let's marry this patch up. And you notice I'm keeping it on the Hollytex. Now there's a reason for that, because this paste and the patch will not stick to the Hollytex. You'll see that once we do our cut. And you see I'm brushing it literally right into the Hollytex. And we're going to make a corner. It's going to be a fake corner. Just slice it off square with that. And I'm just curious what it's going to look like. If we don't like it, well, we can just take it off. So now I'm going to take the secondary layer and I'll put it on here right on top of it. Now, one of my favorite conservators, Jerry the Jitterbug, he would leaf cast this. My leaf casting spells are not there. He is I like to refer to him as a wizard. And he would be able to throw a corner on there like it was nothing. Me, not so much. Okay, one last thing. I want to put a little teeny piece down here just to cover that little notch. Now you gotta remember, when we're doing these repairs, we are doing tear seals. We're not trying to hide anything, but we're trying to keep it from getting more damaged. Okay, so I'm happy with everything here. So here's what's going to happen next. We're going to take this other piece of Hollytex and I'm going to lay it right over the top of our repairs. And I'm going to give it a little bit of moisture here. This is just water. It doesn't have to be distilled, it's just good old ordinary water. So with that, I'm going to take and use just my finger pressure, and I'm going to flatten out some of these places where I know we put some of this wheat paste down, and just smear it actually smooth and flat. It does not stick to the Tengu, or it does not stick to the Hollytex. So, and that one's going to be an interesting one. And when we separate this, I'll show you how we're going to do this. I use a spatula. Actually, I've got it right here. When we do this, we're going to just go through and just gently pull the Hollytex away from the book. Okay, and you know, you're going, oh, this is going to be all wrinkled up, Larry. Yeah, it is going to be wrinkled up. But, you know what, we're going to straighten it all out in the end. So we're going to take this wrap. Right now, we're going to go ahead and dry it. So how do you dry it? Okay, well, it helps if I have my paper towels handy. We're going to take and just soak up some of this moisture that I just put into it. And then I am going to take it to the heat press. And we are going to take and press it under low temperature and under pressure, and it will flatten out completely and be dry, and then we'll separate the pieces of paper. So we'll come back to that in just one second. Okay, now that the wrap is out of the heat press, it's been dried under pressure. So we're going to go ahead and separate the Hollytex from the wrap. Now, what we're going to use for this is a spatula, and I'll put a link in the description. You can pick that up at Amazon. And it's just something gentle. We're going to wedge it in between the Hollytex and the repaired paper just to separate it. Now, the wheat paste will not stick to the Hollytex. So what we're going to do is go in here and we're going to gently just kind of, I call it chisel it away, and we're just going to poke it in there, and it just raises the Hollytex in just certain points and lifts it up. And once we get that free, you'll see the Japanese paper, the Tengu-jo paper repairs, and they look very nice. They are stuck to the page as they're supposed to be and are ready for trimming. And as you can see, the Hollytex came off very easily. It's just a matter of sifting the spatula underneath and separating the pieces. I'm happy with this side of this wrap. It looks very nice. Let's turn it over and we'll work on the other side now. Okay, overall I'm pleased with how things look. the corner piece is a little bit translucent, and I can also see some tears that I missed when it was wet. Sometimes they're very hard to see. So I'm going to go back and do additional repairs to this to same technique. I'll just do it off camera so you're not stuck watching it. But I'm going to take care of the tear seals, and I think I'm going to add some extra layers to the corner, and that will build it up even more so it's not so translucent. We have our corner here. We're going to go ahead and slice this off. I'm going to make sure we have a good parallel line here. So I want to line this up exactly the way it should be. Yeah, like I said, this is just kind of a fun thing. Now I've got my trusty number 23 scalpel here, and I always use something very sharp. I'm not saying you need to use a scalpel, that's just one of my personal favorites. And we're going to go ahead and align this top line here. Now we don't want to remove any of the paper. And there you have it. Okay, so with that, we have a interesting looking front corner. Yeah, it's a little bit transparent for my liking, but all in all, the patch is there. It's not going to tear anymore. I think what I may do is put another double thickness over here so it matches up a little bit better. You know, it's absolutely clear that it was a repair that was done. Like I said, we're just having some fun with it. We'll call it paper conservation. I could trim the everything down in here, but we'll see what it looks like when it's done. All right, let's go ahead and get this bottom piece down here now. And we'll just get this and we'll call it done for now, and then we'll get that other the other tears that we missed. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and align. Now when these things are cut, they're folded when they're trimmed. So this line, bottom of the page, will not match up with that line. So what I'm going to try and do is match this up, find the center part of the book, and we'll just go from there. And then I'll line up the other piece on the other side. So right about there, we'll slice it this direction. And then we'll take and line this up over here and slice it the other direction. There. All right, so that is done. And that's a little teeny repair we have here. It's very obvious that it's a repair. This is the side that we were working on. So what I'm going to do, we have an additional tear up here, which I didn't see. It's hard to see these things when the book is wet. An additional one here. I'd like to fill in this little gap right here and maybe put some corners on over here. So it's a little bit better looking. All right, let's give that a shot now. And as always, if you like what you see here at the channel, please like and subscribe. I try to put out a video at least once a week that's supposed to be educational and to help you conserve your comics and make your collection last for years to come.